Viewer discretion is advised.
Boom, perfect timing.
On the day of the incident, Andrew Martin was found sleeping in his vehicle in a parking lot. There were no signs of illegal activity, no evidence that he was under the influence or had committed a crime. Corporal Kenny Bennett was the first officer to approach Mr. Martin's vehicle. He observed Mr. Martin in a groggy state and initially made contact to determine if there was any immediate health concern.
How you doing? Not bad. You okay?
Yeah, you?
Not bad. So, what's going on? You sitting in your truck? Okay.
After some brief conversation, where Mr. Martin claimed to be fine and just resting, Corporal Bennett continued questioning Mr. Martin about his whereabouts and reason for stopping in the parking lot. Corporal Bennett then states that he was investigating a possible crime due to Mr. Martin's behavior and the position of his vehicle, which Corporal Bennett claimed was partially obstructing the roadway.
Okay, what are you doing here? What are you doing in Pryor? What brings you here? Where are you headed? North? Okay. You know anybody in Pryor, or you just happen to? Well, I mean, you're kind of pulled off here in this parking lot a little bit weird. You're a little bit in the roadway. So somebody called in on you. Is there a crime?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, standing in the roadway.
Standing in the roadway?
That's what the technical term is for it.
While Mr. Martin explained that he was merely resting, Corporal Bennett moved forward with investigating potential intoxication, despite having no evidence of such and no reason to believe Mr. Martin was impaired. Mr. Martin continued to ask why he was being questioned and asserted that he hadn't committed any crime, but Corporal Bennett maintained that his actions could lead to charges of obstruction or loitering.
Okay, Pryor, you might start master this way. This guy doesn't look like he's alert. He's got some kind of liquid coming out of his mouth, all run down his shirt. How you doing? Not bad. You okay?
Yeah, you?
Not bad. So, what's going on? You sitting in your truck? Okay. You got anything to drink today? No? You got any kind of medication or anything?
Yeah, just kind of long drive. One road ahead. Want to see you on the road?
Where are you coming from?
Other side of Oregon.
Okay, what are you doing here?
Pretty sure of this thing.
What are you doing in Pryor? What brings you here?
Well, stopping on the road.
Where are you headed? North? Okay. You know anybody in Pryor, or you just happen to? Well, I mean, you're kind of pulled off here in this parking lot a little bit weird. You're a little bit in the roadway. So somebody called in on you. Is there a crime?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, standing in the roadway.
Standing in the roadway?
That's what the technical term is for it. Or you can answer. Or medical. He's awake now, talking to him. Yeah, for. So I get here, and I mean, you're drooling all over yourself. I started medical. I knocked on your window a couple times.
Drooling all over myself?
Look at your shirt.
True,
Okay. So I started medical because I come up here and whenever I got here, you were actively drooling on yourself. And I knocked on the window, I got no response. So I knocked again.
What's the time again?
I mean, so the crime in that is you're partially obstructing the roadway. You're pulled off here on private property. You have no business being here, so that's loitering.
Isn't this someone who called you?
Somebody called me. I don't know who called me. Dispatch is the one who called me. Somebody called dispatch.
Property owner called.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's private property and you have no
Well, you don't know.
business here. Well, I've asked you and you haven't told me,
I
so,
don't have to.
well, I'm investigating a possible crime.
Okay.
So if you're intoxicated, passed out behind the wheel, if you've taken something,
You're investigating if I'm intoxicated?
yeah. Like I said, you're partially obstructing the roadway. You're asleep in your vehicle, which is okay. I don't have a problem with that. If you're just taking a, if you want to play this, why don't you go ahead and step out of the vehicle for me? Yes, sir. Appreciate it. If you want to, it's up to you. You want to leave the door open or you want to shut it? No, it's up to you again. I don't care. Do you have identification on you?
No.
You do not. So what is your name and date of birth?
Andrew, A-N-D-R-U, Martin, 9/18/1980. So what's your date of birth one more time? Road here.
What's your date of birth one more time?
9/18/1980. So this is the road here?
Yeah, I mean,
Or is this the road?
so the city maintains the roadway all the way to here, and then they have an easement over here, and then that's private property. So you're on private property. You have private property that you have no business being on, and then you're partially in the roadway.
Where's the easement begin?
Say it again.
The easement begin?
The easement begin?
Yeah.
I don't know where the easement begins.
Or ends?
I know where the road begins and ends. I don't know where the easement begins and ends.
The road begin and ends here.
So, do you have a driver's license in any state?
Oh yeah.
What state do you have your driver's license in?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma?
Do you know where the road begins and ends here?
It's a really weird question.
It's a weird question, not when I'm being ticketed for
Patrol Officer Jessica Flood arrived shortly after as backup to assist with the situation. Instead of helping to de-escalate, Officer Flood supported Corporal Bennett's request for a field sobriety test, despite no clear evidence of intoxication.
You haven't been ticketed for anything. I've tried to ask you a matter of simple questions so I can conduct my investigation, and all you want to do is be difficult.
I don't want to be difficult.
I mean,
you're being difficult. I was minding my own business and you're bothering me. I don't know how that's me being difficult.
We wouldn't have showed up here if we didn't have a call here, so on you.
Well, that's first of all, that's not true.
100%
And
it is.
so I can call on you, and that doesn't mean that someone's going to come and investigate you.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
That's exactly how this works.
Well, I'd like him investigated because he
Okay.
told me that.
You're good. Whatever you need to do.
Yeah,
hang
I'll be right back. All right, Mr. Martin. So, the condition that you were in when I got here, like I said, you were pulled off the road here asleep. Looks like, do you live at Meadow Trace Apartments?
Yeah.
You don't live there anymore? It's the address that shows on your driver's license.
Where do you live?
Nearby.
Nearby.
The address.
Is that relevant question?
It is. I'm literally asking you because you're sleeping in your truck right here, and I don't know that you're going to be safe to drive anywhere. So yeah, it's absolutely.
How would I not be safe? So am I safe to
Where-
drive
what's
to
your
Meadow
address?
Trace, or am I
What's your
safe to
address?
drive to Portland, Oregon?
What's your address?
Is that, I don't know what that has to do with it.
It's going to be like this the whole time.
Yeah.
So you can continue to obstruct our
So
investigation.
here's the thing. I can leave you and let you.
comply with your investigation.
You're not required to comply with our investigation?
No, I don't have to assist you.
I mean, you have to answer our questions if we're conducting an investigation.
That's
Otherwise,
exactly-
otherwise you're obstructing our investigation.
Really? Is that how the Fifth Amendment works? The
Yeah.
Fourth Amendment? First Amendment? Is
Do you
that
know
how
your
this one
amendments?
works? I don't think you do.
Okay, so I can put you through a couple of standard field sobriety tests and see if you're good to drive. And if you are, then we'll get out of here and we'll let you drive. Okay, and we won't ask you any more
For
questions.
sitting in a vehicle in private property.
Somebody calling in because they were concerned about you because you were partially on the roadway.
We're a lot closer to harassment on your part than we are.
We can go to the jail and we can do this in front of a
I mean,
judge.
yeah, I'm not-
and
Sure,
we
could.
can
I
have that
mean, probably
conversation there.
should. I mean,
If that's what you want to do,
That's
I
absolutely
don't
fine.
want to do that. If I wanted to do that, I would have driven to the
I don't
courthouse
want to
and
do that
asked
either. If I
the
wanted
judge,
to
I
do
would have
that.
driven to a parking space and taken it down. See the difference there?
I mean, if I wanted to arrest you, then whenever you're
activities, driving to a parking space and taking a nap, or driving to a court and speaking to a judge.
There actually is a law against sleeping in public.
Really?
Yeah.
So
it's a
am I
city
in public
ordinance.
or am I on private property?
If you're at the park, like you just said,
I didn't say the park.
maybe.
I said a parking space.
okay. Still public
I'm not on
public access.
public
So,
property.
do you live in these apartments?
Do you?
Do you live in these apartments?
Do you?
No, I don't live in these
Okay.
apartments. Do you? I answered your question. You going to answer
Well,
mine?
You're giving me a ticket for being in the road.
Have I given you a ticket yet?
Investigating? No, because you can't for being in the roadway.
I can't?
That's what you told me. Well, I mean, you could, but
I give you a ticket for I could pick for being in the roadway or loitering because you're on private property that you claim to have no business being at.
well, I'm sure that I could go in front of a judge and argue my case and be fairly successful rather quickly and easily by.
And that's fine. If you want to go and argue your case in court, if you want to go argue your case in court, that's fine. But I'm not going to argue it with you here on the side of the road.
Right.
Okay? So you
You're
can.
going to give me a ticket for being unsafe when I told you exactly what I did, which was.
He's going to conduct a couple of
name of
tests,
safety,
field sobriety
right?
tests. Are you willing to comply
Are you
with
willing?
those
Are you
tests?
willing to comply with some field sobriety tests?
So what are my options there? To go to jail or
Are
do
you
what you tell me
willing
to?
to comply with the field sobriety test?
with
That's the
incarceration?
question.
Threatening you at all?
Nobody threatened you. Nobody
I am
said
here to do
anything
my
other-
job.
So I don't have to. Am I free to go?
No, you are
No, you're not
free
free to go. We're still conducting our investigation. If you allow me to finish conducting my investigation, and you will.
So here's what I don't understand. I'm not refusing shit. first
Okay.
of all, okay.
So you'll agree
What I
to take
don't-
the safe step?
What I don't understand is what indication that I'm intoxicated I've given at any point in this other than I drove when I sleep. Is that against the law?
It's uncommon at 3 o'clock in the afternoon for somebody
Okay,
to be asleep behind the wheel of their vehicle,
How many police
not
officers are asleep?
legally parked in a parking space
So
on
you
private
investigate
property.
them? So you do the same thing in the middle of the night?
Okay.
We do the same
I'm
thing
not-
24/7
we're not
if we
arguing
get
this.
a call.
Will you comply with the field sobriety test or not?
Or what? Oh, I
Yes
remember
or
you.
no?
What?
Yes,
I
yes or
remember
no?
you. Do you remember me? Don't you?
No.
Yeah,
Yes or
I bet
no?
You do. Okay. Now I feel like this is harassment. Is there a supervisor available?
He
That's
is
me.
the
I'm the
supervisor.
Where's your supervisor?
He is the supervisor.
I am the
of
supervisor.
We
this
had
shift.
this same conversation. Was that you? Were you there? for
I
that?
don't believe so. I don't believe I've ever met you
I
before.
don't even know where I would have met you. So yes or no? Yes or no?
See,
Yes or no?
You didn't understand what private property was when you were in an apartment complex. You thought that was public property. Do you remember that now?
Do you live in
I
this
say we
apartment complex?
No, he doesn't. I'm familiar. So I think we should just go to Mace County Jail.
Mr. Martin expressed his reluctance to comply with the sobriety test, stating that he was not intoxicated and had simply pulled over to rest, not drive. Corporal Bennett informed Mr. Martin that he was not free to leave, citing that they were investigating a possible crime, which Mr. Martin again questioned as unfounded. Mr. Martin reiterated his right to remain silent and his right to refuse a sobriety test, but Mr. Bennett insisted on proceeding, threatening arrest if Mr. Martin did not comply. After Mr. Martin refused the sobriety test, Corporal Bennett informed him that he was under arrest for obstruction and would be taken into custody. Despite Mr. Martin continuing to assert his innocence and questioning the legality of the situation, the officers proceeded to arrest him, citing the implied consent law that requires drivers to submit to blood tests when suspected of intoxication. Mr. Martin's refusal to submit to the test was treated as an additional violation, leading to further escalation.
I'm going to go to the county jail for
Obstruction at this point.
All you want to do is sit and argue.
I'm not arguing.
He was intoxicated then.
No, I wasn't.
And that's what I feel like he's intoxicated now, otherwise you wouldn't be passed out behind the wheel of his vehicle.
I wasn't passed out, I was asleep. That's why I woke up with a knock. I told you I drove to this parking space to do that. I'd like to speak to a supervisor.
He is.
You are speaking to a
I'd like to
supervisor.
speak to your supervisor.
They're all out right now.
That's weird. That happens every time I want to speak to a supervisor.
There's one supervisor
you asked for my
assigned.
supervisor and he's right here.
There's one supervisor. There's one supervisor assigned per shift. Okay, that's me.
Okay. So then, if
At 6 o'clock this afternoon, there will be a different supervisor here.
Violating people's laws, and we're just all fucked.
I mean,
That's a conversation you can have with the judge.
you don't have a
if you-
constitutional right to speak to a supervisor anyway.
All right, but I
Okay.
have right under your department's policy.
No.
No.
No? Okay.
I'm trying to work with you here.
No, you're
We've
Okay.
tried. We've tried to ask you. You don't have a ticket in your hand.
Okay, so am I free to
You
go?
no. You've
Okay,
been
you're
asked
threatening
if you will
me with
comply.
arrest for sitting in the car, taking a nap. When I told you I'm taking a nap because I'm too tired to drive. I had a little bit further to go, and I was tired, so I pulled over for that.
And you won't even tell me
What
how
does it
far
say in the
that is to
Oklahoma
go.
driver's manual to do when you're becoming too tired to drive? It says you should keep on going. Pull over somewhere safe to sleep.
Somewhere safe to sleep. I mean, I don't think that that's.
Where is somewhere safe?
I mean, legally parked, we could argue that, even though this isn't.
We've gone over this and over this and over this. You're not even in a parking spot at all.
I'm not in
You're
the
not
road.
in a parking spot.
Not
We
in
got
the road.
called here because of you specifically,
I'm not in
and this
the
truck
road.
specifically.
I'm not in the road.
You are in the easement. Look, if you look at that
Not
sign
against
right
the line
there,
of parking the easement. The easement
and
goes all the way to
sign-
the center line.
it's
of
still
those
city
locations.
property.
I'm
Let's
done.
Turn around.
Really?
Turn around.
For what?
Yes, turn around.
Dude,
Turn around. We're done. We tried. We tried. We tried.
you tried what? You tried
To reason with you, and you're unreasonable.
reason with me.
It's hard to reason with somebody who's intoxicated anyway, so that makes sense.
Intoxicated. Even no indication of being intoxicated.
When we tried to give you the opportunity to show us that you're not intoxicated, and you just want to sit here and argue with us. Like I said, I'm not going to argue with you on the side of the road. We'll just.
You're making 0 sense.
Really, but I'm not. You can't tell me where the road begins and ends. But
We're
I'm
back
not
on that?
making
Is that
sense.
where we're back to? We're doing circles?
That's what you pulled me out of.
Hey, you have anything illegal on anything that's going to poke,
No,
stick, or
dude.
stab me? Anything that's going to be illegal? Consider contraband if you take it into a jail facility.
You can't.
I'm giving you the opportunity because once we get into the jail, they're going to search you, and it will be a felony charge.
Why, dude? I don't have anything. No.
Okay, that's your opportunity. So if there is something, then we find it in the jail, and it'll be a felony. So,
I said I don't have it. This is fucking bullshit.
well, you're not wrong about that.
Do you have anything in the vehicle you want to take with you?
Fucking kidding me, dude? In the middle of fucking moving.
All right, come on.
Whoa, you're gonna push me out in front of the vehicle? Holy shit.
yeah.
I'm scared now.
36 right.
Really what you're fucking doing? Because I couldn't fucking. Ah.
Have a seat right here. Be careful. Don't hit your knee on the computer mount. It hurts pretty bad.
God damn it, dude. This is fucking stupid, dude.
I don't disagree with you.
What's the charge?
Obstruction.
Obstruction of what?
Obstructing me in the performance of my duties.
What duty?
I'm trying to perform an investigation here, and you won't answer any of my
I
questions.
answered every question you asked me.
Okay.
What questions did I answer?
You didn't answer any of my questions. You just asked more questions and why I needed to know, and I tried to explain it to you.
All of your questions.
So we'll argue about it in court. That's fine.
We will.
Tow it and I'll inventory it. Ask somebody here if it's free to stay. I mean, it's partially in the
It's
city
partially in the so yeah.
I'll have Constantine meet you over there.
Okay. Okay. You have been arrested, and you are requested to submit to a test or tests to determine the presence and/or concentration of intoxicants in your body. The test will be a blood test. If a blood test is performed, it will be done by approved medical personnel under Oklahoma law. If you complete the state's test, you may have an additional test at your own expense. You are not entitled to consult with an attorney prior to making your decision to submit to the state's test. You may refuse the state's test, but as a consequence, your driving privileges will be revoked or denied. If you are 21 years of age or older and the test is .08 or more alcohol concentration, your driving privileges will be revoked or denied. If you are age 21, if you're under age 21 and the test result is .02 or more alcohol concentration, your driving privileges will be revoked or denied. Will you take the state's test? It's going to be a blood test.
It's gonna be what?
A blood test?
I don't understand. I can't talk to an attorney.
That's correct. This is the implied consent test
Yeah,
request.
I see what it says, but I don't understand. First of all, dude, this is a real. It's a dick move. First of all, I didn't do anything wrong. You know I'm not intoxicated. And
I don't know that you're not intoxicated. Okay. You have the option to submit to the state's test. I can read it to you again if you would like for more clarification. It's going to be a blood test.
It doesn't really clarify. I mean, what are...
This is the state law, and this is what I'm required to read you.
I understand.
Okay,
I
and you
understand
have the right to say that you will or you will not. I'll read it again if you'd like to hear it again.
So, so my driving privileges are revoked if I refuse.
If you refuse.
Until when? I mean, that's what I'm just not understanding.
Until you go through the court, until you go through the court process and they determine.
Damn it. This is bullshit, dude.
Well, you've been arrested. Okay.
Well, I don't believe.
I don't think that you're. I don't feel that you're drinking alcohol, but I think you're under the influence of something.
Dude, really?
Yeah, I'm
I'm
thinking.
down there fucking slamming heroin. It was halfway between my house and home, or my house and work.
Some kind of drugs, pills, something.
Shit.
So.
I'm under the influence of owning a business and working more often than I fucking sleep. I'm trying to build a goddamn business here.
Okay. You want me to read this test again?
No, I'm good. No, I won't take it.
You will not take the state's test.
No.
Okay. 36 Pryor, if you would log down at this time, it says Ben has refused to take the state's test. All right, go ahead.
Coming up.
Thank you. It's not as hot as it was yesterday, but it's very hot.
I called it. Whenever you get out there and started messing and canceling my cities, AD.
Yeah.
Have you been involved in a motor vehicle accident? When? And what happened? I'm sorry. Where at? The top side? Right here?
Mr. Martin, are you a member of a tribe? Are you a member of any tribe? No?
He's not.
He says no.
Anything else under DUI?
It's APC and obstruction.
Andrew Martin was arrested and taken into custody despite his clear indication that he had not broken any laws. The arrest was based primarily on his refusal to comply with the officer's requests, not any clear evidence of intoxication or criminal activity. Andrew Martin was not driving and showed no signs of impairment. The officers had no evidence or reasonable suspicion to initiate a criminal investigation. The situation could have been resolved with a simple welfare check, but instead the officers escalated the interaction and arrested Mr. Martin based on a refusal to comply rather than any unlawful behavior. While the officers may have been acting within certain legal boundaries, the manner in which they conducted the encounter, particularly their refusal to allow Mr. Martin to leave and their threats of arrest for asserting his rights, raises significant concerns about abuse of power and overreach. This case represents a failure of police discretion and highlights the risks of unnecessary escalation in situations where no criminal activity is present.